the mysterious whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant. Where is this sacred relic now? This is an enigma that has intrigued historians and archaeologists for over 20 centuries. According to the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant represented the presence of God and contained the original tablets with the 10 Commandments. It was a symbol of the eternal covenant between God and his people. However, the Ark disappeared after the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem, and since then, its location has been the subject of countless theories. Some believe it is hidden in a cave in Israel, others think it is in Ethiopia, and there are those who believe it was lost forever after the deportation to Babylon. But the fascination with the Ark of the Covenant remains alive today, fueling both the faith of some and the curiosity of others. And what do you think? Where do you believe it could be hidden? I invite you to stay until the end to learn more about this mystery and to discover valuable lessons for your spiritual growth. Today I will take you to the heart of the Old Testament, where God asked Moses to create one of the most sacred and mysterious relics in biblical history, the Ark of the Covenant. It all began on Mount Sinai when Moses received the 10 Commandments from God. In Exodus 25, God gave Moses detailed instructions to build the Ark. Imagine the excitement and awe that Moses must have felt upon receiving this divine mission. The Ark was to be built of acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold, both inside and out. Its exact dimensions were 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. At each corner, gold rings were to be placed, through which poles of acacia wood, also covered in gold, would be passed to carry it without touching it directly. Inside the Ark were placed the tablets of the 10 Commandments, a jar of manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, as mentioned in Hebrews 9 verse 4. Each of these elements held deep significance. The tablets of the law represented God's covenant with his people. The manna was the heavenly bread that God provided in the desert, and Aaron's rod symbolized divine authority. The Ark of the Covenant was not just a sacred object, it was a tangible symbol of God's presence among the Israelites. It was kept in the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary that the Israelites carried with them during their 40 years in the desert. The tabernacle was a place of worship and sacrifice, where God manifested himself in a cloud of glory over the mercy seat of the Ark, also known as the Place of Atonement. It was the holiest place, where only the high priest could enter once a year on the Day of Atonement to offer sacrifices for the sins of the people. The Ark also played a crucial role in the conquest of Canaan. When Israel crossed the Jordan River, the waters stopped when they touched the Ark, allowing them to cross on dry land, as recounted in Joshua 3. In the Battle of Jericho, it was carried at the front of the troops, and after 7 days of marching and the sound of trumpets, the city's walls fell. At that time, Israelite society lived in constant tension between obedience and rebellion. Faith in God and respect for his commandments were essential to their identity and survival as a people. The Ark of the Covenant, as a physical manifestation of divine presence, reinforced the importance of loyalty and devotion to God's laws. At the end of this chapter, I invite you to reflect. Just as the Israelites kept the Ark of the Covenant to remember God's presence, we can also keep in our hearts the memory of our spiritual promises and commitments. What symbols and practices in your life help you keep your faith and connection with the divine alive? By thinking about this, we can strengthen our relationship with God and live according to the principles we value. What happened to the Ark of the Covenant after the conquest of Canaan? Once the people of Israel settled in the Promised Land, King David, deeply devout and eager for a worthy place for the Ark, wanted to build a temple for God. However, it was his son Solomon who had the honor of carrying out this monumental task. In the first book of Kings, chapters 6 to 8, we are told how Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem, a project that took 7 years and employed thousands of workers. This temple became the center of Israel's religious life. The day of the temple's dedication was a moment of great celebration and reverence. Imagine the emotion and solemnity when the priests carried the Ark of the Covenant from the city of David to the Holy of Holies in the temple. The Ark, covered by a veil and supported on pillars that were never touched directly, was placed in its final resting place under the outstretched arms of the gold cherubim, as described in 1 Kings 8 verses 6 to 7. When the priests came out of the Holy of Holies, a cloud filled the temple, symbolizing God's glory that rested over the Ark. This event marked the culmination of the temple's dedication and reaffirmed the covenant between God and Israel. Solomon's temple was not only a center of worship, but also a symbol of unity and strength for the nation of Israel. At that time, society was deeply rooted in its religious practices and the law of Moses, and the temple was the spiritual and political heart of the kingdom. However, the story of the Ark and the temple also reflects the ups and downs of Israel's relationship with God. Over the centuries, the temple experienced periods of great devotion, but also of neglect. Righteous kings like Josiah tried to restore true worship, while others, like Manasseh, introduced idolatry into the temple, desecrating the holy place. The political situation in Israel also affected the Ark's security. The constant threats of invasions and conflicts with neighboring powers like Assyria, Egypt, and Babylon put the kingdom's stability at risk. Finally, in 586 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon conquered Jerusalem, destroyed Solomon's temple, and led the people of Israel into exile. This tragic event marked the end of an era and the beginning of a long period of dispersion and suffering. With the destruction of the temple, the whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant became uncertain. There is no clear record of what happened after this devastating event. Some sources suggest it was taken to Babylon, while others believe the priests hid it to protect it from desecration. As we close this chapter, I invite you to reflect. Solomon's temple and the Ark of the Covenant were powerful symbols of God's presence and promises. In our lives, what symbolizes our faith, and how do we protect and honor these beliefs? By thinking about this, we can find ways to strengthen our devotion and live according to the principles we value. Now I will explain the mystery surrounding the disappearance of this sacred relic, an enigma that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for centuries. In 586 BC, Jerusalem fell to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Solomon's temple was destroyed, and many sacred treasures were taken to Babylon. However, the fate of the Ark of the Covenant was not clearly recorded. This silence in historical documents has given rise to many theories and legends about its whereabouts. One of the most interesting theories suggests that, anticipating the Babylonian invasion, the priests hid the Ark to protect it from desecration. According to the second book of Maccabees 2:4-8, the prophet Jeremiah hid the Ark in a cave on Mount Nebo, the mountain from which Moses saw the Promised Land. Jeremiah said the place would remain unknown until God gathered his people again. This theory adds an air of mystery and hope to the Ark's fate. Another intriguing theory is that the Ark was taken to Babylon as spoils of war. However, there are no Babylonian documents to confirm this idea. The lack of evidence has led some to think the Ark may have been destroyed during the invasion, though this is not a popular theory among those who believe in its sanctity. The social, political, and religious situation at that time was extremely turbulent. The Babylonian exile was a time of great suffering and reflection for the people of Israel. Without the temple and with their religious identity at stake, Israel faced the challenge of keeping their faith alive in a foreign environment. This context of loss and hope has kept the story of the Ark of the Covenant alive as a symbol of God's presence and the promise of redemption. The absence of the Ark in historical accounts after the exile has led to speculation and investigations for centuries. From medieval explorers to modern archaeologists, many have attempted to find this sacred relic, but the Ark remains elusive. As we reflect on this mystery, it is important to think about what the Ark symbolizes for us today. Beyond its physical location, the Ark of the Covenant represents faith, perseverance, and divine presence in the midst of adversity. It reminds us that even in times of uncertainty and loss, the connection with the divine remains intact. I invite you to reflect on your life. What elements or symbols keep your faith alive in difficult times? Like the Israelites in exile, we can find ways to maintain our spirit and hope even when facing challenges and unresolved mysteries. Where could the Ark of the Covenant be today? For centuries, the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant has captivated the imagination of explorers, archaeologists, and adventurers. One of the most fascinating theories comes from Ethiopia, where the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church claims that the Ark has been kept in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum for over 1,000 years. According to Ethiopian legend, the Ark was brought there by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. It is said that after visiting his father in Jerusalem, Menelik took the Ark to Ethiopia to protect it. Although this story is intriguing, it has not been confirmed due to the strict surveillance and secrecy surrounding the supposed location where the Ark is kept. Only a guardian monk has access to the Ark, and no one else can see it. This story has aroused both skepticism and fascination among scholars and believers. Another theory suggests that the Ark might be hidden under the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. This sacred site for Jews and Muslims has been the subject of many excavations and speculations. However, the political and religious tensions in the region have made any definitive investigation difficult. The underground tunnels and chambers discovered beneath the mountain have fueled the idea that the Ark could be hidden somewhere in this ancient labyrinth. There are also legends that place the Ark in various locations around the world. from the caves of Jordan to temples in Egypt. Each theory adds a layer of mystery and adventure to the search for the Ark, and although none have been confirmed, they all contribute to the rich tapestry of stories surrounding this relic. In modern times, technology has played an important role in the search for the Arkansas. Explorers have used everything from satellite imagery to sonar and ground-penetrating radar to search for clues about its location. Despite these advances, the Ark remains difficult to find, and its search continues to be a fascinating challenge. The interest in the Ark of the Covenant also reflects a deep spiritual quest. The idea of finding a tangible connection with the divine resonates with many of us. The Ark symbolizes God's presence and the promise of His protection and guidance. In times of uncertainty, this quest can offer comfort and hope. At the end of this chapter, I invite you to reflect. The search for the Ark of the Covenant teaches us the importance of faith and perseverance. What mysteries and challenges do you face in your life? How can you keep your hope and faith alive while seeking answers? Like the seekers of the Ark, we can find strength and purpose in our spiritual quest. The Ark of the Covenant, although its whereabouts remain a mystery, continues to be a powerful symbol of faith and divine presence. Over the centuries, it has represented the covenant between God and His people, constantly reminding us of His protection and guidance. In ancient times, Israelite society was deeply rooted in its religious practices, and the Ark occupied a central place in their spiritual life. In Hebrews 9 verse 4, the Ark is mentioned as an integral part of the Old Covenant, highlighting Jesus Christ as the mediator of the New Covenant. This passage of the New Testament connects the meaning of the Ark with the redemption and hope that Christ offers. For Christians, the Ark of the Covenant is not just a relic of the past, but a symbol of God's promise of salvation and His continuous presence in our lives. The influence of the Ark has also extended throughout the history of art and literature. Since ancient times, it has been depicted in numerous works, reflecting its cultural and spiritual significance. Representations of the Ark in frescoes, illuminated manuscripts, and sculptures capture not only its physical beauty but also its deep spiritual meaning. Additionally, the Ark of the Covenant has influenced various religious traditions. In Judaism, it remains a symbol of the Old Covenant and an essential part of the Torah's stories. In Christianity, it is considered a precursor to the incarnation of Christ and the new covenant established by His sacrifice. Even in Islam, the Ark is mentioned in the Quran, where its historical and spiritual importance is recognized. The story of the Ark of the Covenant also invites us to reflect on our relationship with the divine. In a world full of challenges and uncertainties, the Ark reminds us of the importance of faith and hope. It teaches us that despite adversity, God's presence remains with us, guiding and protecting us. Where is the Ark of the Covenant? This unresolved enigma has fascinated believers, historians, and archaeologists for centuries. At the end of this journey, let us reflect on the lessons we can learn from the story of the Ark and how they can enrich our spiritual growth. For those who want to delve deeper into the study of the Ark of the Covenant, I recommend exploring the books of Exodus, 1 Kings, Hebrews, Deuteronomy, and 2 Chronicles. These texts offer a rich narrative and theological context that can enrich our understanding and faith. In conclusion, although the physical fate of the Ark of the Covenant remains a mystery, its spiritual legacy is clear and powerful. It teaches us about faith, the connection with the divine, and the importance of living according to our principles. By reflecting on these lessons, we can find inspiration to strengthen our spiritual life and face our challenges with faith and hope. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey through the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant. I hope these explorations have enriched your understanding and inspired you to deepen your spiritual quest. See you at our next encounter.